Hey everyone, Pollywog here, and today I'm going to show you how to make your own wizard using the supplies in your kit. So in your kit you've got a paper roll tube, you've got another paper roll tube that's been cut into a triangular shape, you've got a piece of white paper, you've got a small piece of blue paper, a bigger piece of blue paper, some yellow that has some pre-drawn stars on it for you to cut out if you choose. You've got a little wooden dowel cut in half, a little star figure that's already been cut out for you. Yours might be foam, it might be construction paper. You've got a little bead in your kit. That's going to be his little nose. And you also have some star-shaped sequins, and mine are just on top of this paper. Yours are in the side of a little bag. You've got green and gold, and those are just for you to choose to decorate with. So I'm going to go ahead and tilt my camera down so you can see my hands working, and I'll show you how to do this project. You will need a pair of scissors and a hot glue gun. You might want a pencil for drawing, and you'll definitely need a black marker for making his face. All right, we'll get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm actually going to go ahead and start with is getting my little wand set up. So that's what this wooden dowel and the cutout star shape is for. So I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue on the top of my dowel, and I'm going to take that star figure and just press it right on top. So now it looks like a little magic wand. And I'm just going to set this off to the side because we will be working with that later. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my wizard into his wizard cloak. So that's what the smaller piece of blue is for. I already pre-measured it so that it fits around the tube, and you can see that it's pretty much a perfect fit, so there won't be a whole lot of extra. Now I noticed when I was making my first wizard that if you do the width, so how I already have the paper cut, the white and the blue, you'll have a really small spot to make his face. So if you want to trim the paper up a little bit, feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead and just work with what I've got right here. I also put a couple hot glue sticks in your pack in case you needed any extra. So I'm going to start by just covering my piece of small blue construction paper and some hot glue. And then I'm going to take my paper tube and I'm going to carefully set him up. And I'm going to choose to do it in the middle so that the back of the paper where the two edges meet is on the back of him. I'm just going to roll, and now you can see that that paper is all the way around him and it meets in the back. Now I'm not really too worried about the fact that it's got a little piece right there. You can glue that down more if you choose to. Just be careful using your hot glue. Now, for your white beard, if you put it right on top, you're going to notice it's pretty long. So I am going to go ahead and just quickly trim mine up. And I'm cutting it a little less than halfway. And this is the piece I'm going to work with. So before I attach it to him, I'm actually going to make the little parts that will look like beard hair. And to do that, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut little strips, but I'm not going to cut all the way up. So I'm going to cut and then I'm going to stop. So you can see that I go a little more than halfway up, but it's still actually attached. Now I'm going to do that all the way across my paper. So let's go ahead and do that. It's okay if they're not exactly the same width or exactly the same height as far as you cut up. Just try not to cut it all the way off. It's okay to have them different sizes. And you're just going to do this all the way across. Now I made the choice to go all the way across so even the back of his beard has these little spots. If you want to only do the front of the beard, that's totally a choice you can make. But I thought it looked nice with it going all the way around. Now just like I always encourage in all of my videos, there's really no wrong way to do art, so if you choose to steer away from my guidelines and choose your own way of decorating your decorating your wizard, or if you choose to use paint to paint him or different color paper, that is totally up to you. That's a choice that you are welcome to make. I encourage you to be creative. Alright, so I'm just finishing up these few little cuts here at the end. And now you can see that fringe going all the way across. So now I'm actually going to take my pencil and I'm going to come to the edges of that fringe, and I'm just gonna roll them up around the pencil. You can do a few at a time, you can do multiple at a time, but I'm just doing a few in the middle to show you. When they're done, they're gonna stand up like that. So you're gonna do that all the way across. You can take multiple at a time. You're just kind of bending it over the pencil to kind of make those edges rounded. It's just giving it the effect of hair standing up. I actually tried doing it when the beard was connected to him, and that works pretty well too, so you are welcome to do it that way. It works really well if you just hold the pencil and then kind of fold them up around it. And you can see I'm not doing perfect nice folds, and that's okay because it's still going to give us that little look of curly edges. Okay, so now that his beard looks like that, I'm going to work on attaching it. So I'm just going to flip my white paper over, put a strip of hot glue all the way down, being careful not to touch that hot glue. I'm going to pick it up from the bottom so that I'm not touching that hot glue, and I'm going to put it all the way around, just like I did with the clothes, but I'm actually going to make it so you can't see the blue on the top. So I came to the very top of the blue. That's where his beard will begin. And now I'm just going to fold it all the way around. And you can see that I have a lot of extra, so I'm just making a cut. And they meet in the back. And now you can see he's got his beard. Now what I was mentioning before, it's not as curly as I'd like it, so if you want to, now it's really easy to take your pencil and fold those up. I really just care about the ones right in front, so I'm just gonna do these ones right here. And now you can see that effect of having them real fringed. Now comes the part for the mustache. So using that extra white piece you have, because even if you chose not to cut yours in half, your white piece was longer than your tube. So you shouldn't have needed that whole white piece to go around. If you made the choice not to cut yours in half, you should have had a little leftover cut from the end. If you don't, you can use a different color paper or some computer paper, or you could skip this part. This is just a little mustache. To make it, I'm gonna draw an M. And to draw the M, I'm not gonna do a stem. I'm just gonna go up like a mountain and another mountain. And then I'm gonna curl my edges, and I'll pick this up and show it to you. So it's kind of like that bird-like thing you can make, you know, when you make a bird like that without the curly edges. It's the same thing. So I made it like that, and then I'm just gonna take those two edges and come up and down, just like that. So that's a little mustache. There's really no wrong way to do a mustache. You can make it however you want it to be, but that's a really easy way to make it. And now I'm just gonna cut it out. Okay, so just cutting out my mustache, and then we will glue it on with his little nose. So all those stars in your kit, the sequins, the ones that are already drawn out for you, those are optional as decorations that you can use on top of your wizard if you choose to. Okay, so I've got my mustache cut out now, and now to glue it on, I'm actually just going to put the dot of glue directly onto the white paper because I don't want to burn my fingers, and then I'm just going to pick up my little mustache and set it, whoops, right on top. So now mine looks like that. You can see his little mustache. Now you're going to take that bead that's in your kit. So you might have two beads in your kit. That's because I didn't know if you wanted a big nose or a small nose. So you have two different beads. Yes, they're different colored. It's because it's a wizard, so it's okay for him to have a purple or an orange nose. So I've got a little purple bead in my kit. I'm just going to put it, a little dot of hot glue right above the mustache. And I just put that nose right on top, just like that. I'm going to worry about my hot glue strings a little bit later. And now I'm going to work on my hat. So in your kit you have a piece of paper tube that's been cut into a triangle, you'll notice that the back of it is open. Now, on this guy, I did try to cover the back of it with construction paper, and it made his hat look a little wonky, but if you want to do it that way, that's totally fine. I've decided for this guy I'm not going to cover the back. So the back of his, the back of his hat is just going to be open, and I'm okay with that. So before I glue the hat on him, I'm going to take my extra piece of construction paper, and I'm going to measure out what I need to cut. So I'm just tracing my toilet tube over the top, and I know that it's not going to be perfect, so I'm just cutting out what I can, and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so I was able to get most of that covered, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that down. And I'm going to place it on my toilet tube just like that. Now you can see that I didn't quite make it all the way, so I'm just going to come back with a little extra triangle of my paper. I'm just going to glue that part down. And again, I mentioned that my hat is not going to look perfect, and I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to trim up that spot that didn't quite have enough. And so now I've got a blue hat ready to go. And now is the time, if you wanted to add any decoration, you can. So you can cut out those stars and add them to the hat. You can alternatively add some of those sequins. To do that, I just put a little dab of hot glue, and then I actually just drop the sequins right on top, and whatever sticks, and whatever doesn't falls right off. So just like that. And then you can see that I have some that got left behind to have those stars on there. Alternatively, you can just use those pieces of paper. It's a lot easier than those little tiny sequins. But if you really want to get creative with those sequins, feel free. So I just did a few just so you can see his hat is a little decorated. And now I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do a line of hot glue just on the bottom of the triangle, the part that's going to get attached to the wizard himself. And now I want to make sure that his hat's going to be in the front. So I'm going to pick up my hat, and I'm just going to start putting it around his head. Now I want to make sure I save some room so that he actually has space for his little eyes. So I'm just folding this around like so. Now, if you do have paper left over, you can make the choice to cover the back of it. When he's sitting on my shelf, he's going to be facing forward, so I'm not really worried about the fact that he doesn't have a back of his head. If you have any paper tubes, you are welcome to make a fuller hat by cutting another one the same way this one was cut for you. But that is what I'm going to do for mine, is just leave his hat open. And now I'm going to take my black marker, and I am just going to draw a little face on him. And the face I'm going to draw are just going to be 2 eyes. So 2 circles. Just like that. The last step is to add on your magic wand. So to do that, I'm just going to put a piece of glue. Just going to put a little bit of glue right on the side. Of course, I need another hot glue stick. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue right here on the side of his beard, just like that. And then I'm going to stick my wand on him at an angle to kind of give it the illusion that he is holding it. Just like that. Alright everyone, that's it for this mini lesson. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you for the next one. See you later!